Hey, so coming up in week 2, this, how I ran my fastest ever 10K. Also, this happened. One of those people is me, and the other one is Thomas and Megan from Believe in the Run. We recorded a podcast for their channel. It's called The Drop, and I'm on it. Thirdly, I feel like I'm proper solidified now as a YouTuber because there's a brand that sent me a pair of shoes that's not even out yet. Embargo. Come on. So man's got a shoe to review and it hasn't even come out yet. It's official. I feel like I'm one of them. But I normally share my running, my gym stuff. So coming up on this one, have a look.
The world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know.
Okay, so let's start with Run Through. I've been telling you guys that I've partnered up with Run Through and I'm taking part in their events. So I went Victoria Park, it's a 10K run, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a go.
All right, so just got to the race. It's gonna be good. I tell you what though, I'm not built for this weather. It feels like it's minus 50 degrees Celsius. It's not quite, but you get where I'm going with it. Okay, first one of 2024, Run Through UK 10K. Let's go.
Going through it, it just felt great. I aimed to run a 5-minute K. I just simply wanted a sub 50 by myself, but going through it, I'm just gonna put the splits, hold on. Let's put the splits over there. That was impressive because it actually felt like I could sustain it. Let me go to this one. I ran my first 1 to 5K feeling great, and I thought, you know what, I could maintain this, and I decided to give it a push. The turning point for me on that run was the 7 to 8 and 9K. Now, usually when I share my workouts, my runs, I tell you that the last split, the last rep, whatever I'm doing is gonna be the fastest. That was a goal even here.
One more K left. We're on track for a PB. Let's go. This is all we've been training for. Let's go.
Anyway, let's get to the charts because that's what I always love talking about. The paces, bang. This I was really happy with. An average of 4:49 for a 10K. What? The fastest of 4:05. Things just felt great. I just can't explain it. The training is paying off, being consistent as a guy. A friend of mine, Martin Hutchinson, who always says, just trust the process. And it seems like the process is really serving me. So that's really, really cool. Heart rate. Now this one's key. An average of 169 with a max of 189. Now, normally when I give these efforts, my heart rate is like 194, 200 mark. So an average of 168, 189 max, I was really, really happy with. So next up is the cadence. And I actually trust this. I think this is reliable. Where I'm giving a 10K effort at 172, great. And it's a max of 184. I want to repeat this. There is guidance out there that says you should aim for 180. Don't. You should aim for your cadence that gets you running efficiently and avoids injury. The last thing I want to talk about, time spent in heart rate zones. I enjoy this one. A lot of it was zone 5. It's expected. It's a 10K race and I'm doing it the fastest I've ever done it. It was really, really good to see that for last time, it took a very big push. It took Ben and Cole supporting me just to get sub 50. But the training I've been doing has allowed me to get 48:20, which was the official chip time. That's amazing, you know? So that happened on Sunday. Hey, so let me interrupt the video very quickly. This coming weekend on the 20th and the 21st, very big weekends for me. On the 20th, I'm gonna be at the running show in Birmingham at the NEC. If you're going and you see me, please stop me, say hello. I'm gonna be vlogging on the day. It'll be good to get you in my video. Secondly, on the 21st, Run Through UK 5K at Regent's Park. The 5K PB is coming down. Don't say I didn't warn you, it's coming down. If you want to join me, you want to run the 10K, they've got other distances happening, but for me, I'm running the 5K. And the aim is to go around that 21-minute mark. If you run that time, please join me. Okay, let's carry on with the video. On the next day, I simply rested. I was feeling the effort that I had put in for the 10K, so I rested. I didn't go to the gym. In fact, I haven't been to the gym all of this week. I'll explain why in a little bit. On the Tuesday though, I decided I'm gonna ignore the plan for that week. I had some speed sessions, I had some reps to do, but I felt, let me just recover. So instead I did a zone 2 run. Still in my pajamas. I'm about to get changed to go to this easy run. But there's been a significant change in what I call an easy run. I posted a video of me running on a treadmill, 10K easy run at my gym, and someone challenged me to say my zone 2 range is actually too low. They gave me some advice. Actually, I'll put it here, this comment here. So I looked into it. So this is actually my old range, and that is what I've recalculated it to be. So this is what I'm gonna be aiming for as my zone 2. I'm gonna give this a go for about 2-3 weeks and see how I get on with that. I want to agree, it felt like I was going too slow for my zone 2. So let's look at this. All of this stuff is not gonna be an exact science, so don't be too bogged down and restricted by what numbers are telling you. Go also by how you feel. Anyway, let's get changed. Shoes. Let's do the other side. There you go. Sorry. That's better. The top. Yep, I think I'm set. I'm gonna get some gloves on because the weather out here has gone evil. Let's get to this zone 2 run and I'll see you outside. Okay, as I get home and start breaking down the run and start looking at stats, I'm gonna start with telling you the shoe I used. And the shoe I ran on this easy run, it's not really made for easy runs, but my favorite running shoe, period. Hoka Rocket X2, because it simply does everything. The only downside to it is it's super expensive. That's the only downside. But if you can get your hands on it, highly recommend it. The first thing you're going to see of that 8K is the pace. 640 average for zone 2. That's very new to me. That, based on the old heart rate, I had to run at around 830 per K pace. Okay, so let's start with bang the heart rate. My new zone 2 is 141 to 152. So the average here is 147, which feels a bit more comfortable to go out running in. And I feel like that definitely is an easy run compared to what I was doing before. Training effect, no surprises here. It's a zone 2 run. It's going to be aerobic, purely aerobic. Once I get into the groove of things, I'm going to start throwing in some strides just to get the pace up. But I didn't want to try anything strenuous because I had just done this 10K on Sunday. Next up, cadence, 167. Love this time and heart rate zones because I'm sort of now in a much suitable, much more, I don't want to say comfortable zone 2. I feel like that's something I can sustain as opposed to spending majority of my run looking at my watch. Am I, so this feels natural. I can go with perceived effort and it will stay within that. Okay, so that is heart rate zones. Wednesday, 10K, zone 2 again, but in the city. I went into London and it's always mind-blowing to have the privilege of running in a spectacular landmark like this, where you're seeing certain places that people pay money to come and see, and there you are just having your zone 2 run. I enjoyed this one. So 10K, let's start with bang. Here you go with the paces. And for this one, I'm not really going to take long. It's going to be the same thing. When I say zone 2, we're going to be talking about the same thing. Here, the training effect. I truly enjoyed that. Some of the elevation in some of the places that I was in challenged my heart rate. So I kicked up the pace a little bit, but essentially it's aerobic with some portion of anaerobic that you're going to see in there. In terms of cadence with a zone 2 run, it's always going to be on the lower side, but I'm still keeping it around that 158, 165. And that's definitely going to be maintained there. Time spent in heart rate zones, there you go. But I wanted to mention one thing here. I really took on board Tim Gross's comment in terms of my mileage. And so at the end of this, I'm going to total up this week's mileage and we're about to turn it up. I am privileged to not be injured, but I also don't want to do too much. This is why I put aside the very intense workouts I had this week to just sort of get back into it, but not lose out on the mileage by doing these zone 2 runs. With that said, on Fridays, I take my son to basketball, so when I drop him in, he's there for an hour, I'm gonna do a run.
All right. What an easy run. When I aim for 10K, all of it in zone 2. Let's get going.
So yesterday, I did 7K in zone 2, and I realized I had to get back to my son, so I had to turn up the pace a little bit.
This is likely to be the most mileage in terms of this week's mileage, the most mileage I've done so far. I'm enjoying it. Zone 2, recalculated to what actually feels comfortable enough, but challenging to kind of count and contribute to the fitness. So I'm enjoying it.
And so for the latter part, I want to say an average of 5 minutes per K, ending up at that 8.76. Let's get to the charts. Okay, pace, you're going to see the end. That's when I realized I was late, but the pace is going to look the same. Heart rate would have elevated because of the end, but essentially zone 2 run at 146. That's the average you're going to see going forward. Okay, so however, let's come back to this chart. Remember when we started and I told you that I had a deficit for my low aerobic training? That's what it looked like. We're now bringing it here. Now, I like what this does in terms of adjusting. This is what it looks like now. And you can see, because I skipped out on my workouts, the speed intense workouts, you're starting to see that gap creep up at the top for the aerobic workouts. However, my low aerobic is now filling in. It's a function of 2 things. I'm being intentional about getting more mileage within that aerobic range, but the adjustment of that heart rate, adjusting to your right heart rate zones, for me, is going to play a big part. Next week, we're going to get back into the fast workouts, but for now, it was recovery. I've got a very long run tomorrow, and it's my longest run in this block, and it's 18K. So that's already telling you the mileage is going to go up, but it's a quite intense workout. Hence why I also needed the recovery week. Hence why I didn't go to the gym at all. Anyway, I promised you last week that I'm actually going to step on the scales. I realized at the very start, I was actually tell you what, here's the graph. This is going to tell you the weight. This is going to tell you where I am now. And we're just going to move forward and progress onwards and forwards. The plan is to get sub 80. Thank you very much for taking time to watch these videos. It truly means a lot to me, because without that, I wouldn't have adjusted my zone 2. I'm actually getting a lot of input from you guys. It's also encouraging, because YouTube could be hard work, but the community that sort of brought me in, so even what I said about Believe in a Run, putting me on the podcast, just you guys watching the videos, commenting, it means a lot. And I can't express how much. So please, please, please continue with that. I truly appreciate it. And I'll see you in the week when I tell you how week 3 went.